Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Winged Horse Designs. I'm Donna Goodwin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Brookings, South Dakota. And today I'm going to show you how to make this fun, kind of a masculine looking card that's a mini card on top of a regular card. So I'm going to switch cameras and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so a little bit better, closer look. It's a regular birthday card. I haven't put the sentiment inside because I don't know who I'm going to send it to yet. But the top has a little mini card held together with a magnet. So on the front it says happy birthday and I'm so proud of you, but listen to that. Isn't that fun? So let's go ahead and get started with this. I'm going to set this up here. The measurements are in the description, so you won't need to write them down. I started with the Two-Tone Flora stamp set, which is a set I've been featuring all month long. And it's got all these floral images, but I wanted to see if I could challenge myself to create something that could be sent to the men as well, those who don't like flowers. So I picked this little leafy pattern here and stamped it over and over again. And that's all I used from this set. And then I brought in some sets from the annual catalog. This one's in the mini catalog on page 15. And I brought in a Grand Kid because I really like the font of this happy birthday. And so I went ahead and used So Proud of You as well. And then, of course, there's a lot of other things. Like I said, when I decide who I'm going to send it to, I'll decide what sentiment to put on the inside of the big part of the card. And then to get this variation of blue here, I could have watercolored it, but I thought, well, you know what? I have this stamp set called Watercolor Shapes. I think I'll just use that, and then I won't have to deal with the water. And then I also used a lot of the stitched rectangles. So I used the largest two on the outside and the second and third one from the inside. You don't need to use the stitched rectangles. I just like the detail of the stitching, so that's why I chose to do that. I have pre-cut everything. We're going to start with a card base. I'm using Balmy Blue that measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. I'm going to give that a good crease with my bone folder and set it aside. You'll need a piece of Night of Navy, or I'm using Night of Navy. You'll need another piece that measures, what are those measurements? I forgot the measurements because I cut it with the die, but it's basically 4 by 5 1/4. And then for the next layer, it's basically 3 3/4 by 5. I cut it so mine's slightly different. For the inside, you'll need a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then for our little mini pieces here, I die cut mine out, but basically it's 1 3/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. You'll need 2 of these, and then you'll need 2 white pieces to stamp on, and they're basically 1 1/2 inches by 2 3/4 inches. You'll need 2 of these. So let's take all these white pieces, because that's what we're going to stamp on, and take everything else and set it aside. Oh, you'll need one more piece for the hinge, and that measures the same or close to as this piece. And then I also made it the full length of this piece here, and I'll explain why later, and you'll score that at about 3/4 of an inch. So let's start with, bring in a piece of scrap here. Let's start with this one. I started with Parakeet Party and my little leaf. Open up the inside here so you can see what I'm doing. And I just stamped along the edge. And before I clean it, I'm going to bring in this piece, and I'm going to stamp with the leaves going around. So I'm going to kind of stamp all the way around the edge. We're just going to come around and around and around. Kind of like a merry-go-round, around and around. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean that stamp and bring in the next green. And I chose Granny Apple Green. They're really close in color, but they're just slightly different. So again, we're going to go around and around and around, kind of stamping a little bit in between where we stamped before. While the inside kind of looks like a mess, we'll eventually be covering it up with our other mini card. So we won't see this mess in here. Let's bring in our inside and add a little Granny Apple Green to this one as well. That just brings a little bit of the front to the inside. We'll set those aside and work on our mini card. So I'm going to start with the watercolor rectangle in Bomb, but I'm going to stamp off and do it in second generation. So I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp off to take the bulk of it off because I just want a little bit of color behind it. And so you have just a little bit of color that way. We're going to do the same thing to the other one. We're going to stamp off. We're going to go on this one. And the beauty of this is the stamp is larger than the rectangle, so you know you're getting an all over coverage. Close that one up, put it away. And I'm going to bring in a dark blue Night of Navy. And I like this because you got some variation. It's not a solid blue. And we'll stamp Happy Birthday on one. You could do any sentiment you like. You could do Designer Series paper. I chose to stamp and create my own. So there's our happy birthday. Now let's tell whoever we're sending this to that we're proud of them. So it's probably is going to be a kid's birthday. Well, we could send it to an adult as well. We could change the greeting to congratulations, I'm so proud of you. So there's our stamping. It's time to start doing our assembly. Now I'm going to bring in my silicone mat so that I don't get adhesive stuck where I don't want it. I'm going to start by gluing these two pieces onto these two pieces. And actually right now I'm going to use liquid glue, so I really don't need the mat. But just going to put a little bit around the edge. This piece in here was just to test how much pressure I would need on the bottle. So there's one. And there's our other one. Set those aside for a moment and work on the big card. So I'm going to start by putting the inside in first. I do these videos because I like sharing what I do. I love sharing what I do. More often than not, I'm over on Facebook every day. So you can find me over on Facebook at Winged Horse Designs. We'll go on the front. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. If you're local to me, I do classes locally. And if you're not local, you can always order online. And those links are in the description as well. Now, I'm not using dimensionals on anything because by the time we add in the mini card and our magnets and our little gems, we'll have more than enough bulk on this card. And it will probably need extra postage. Okay, there's the base. Let's work on our mini card. So like I said, I made this so that the back side of, so the one side of the hinge was the exact same size or just slightly smaller than the other. And the reason for that is when I glue this on, I wanted to have a clean finish on the inside. I didn't want it to have a partial on the inside when you open it. I wanted it to be nice and clean. But the first thing we need to do is put our magnets on. So I'm going to bring in some mini glue dots. And I get my little mini magnets from Amazon. I am not an affiliate of Amazon, but I will have a link in the there is a link in the description of the ones that I use. So we just need 2 of these. They're small and they're thin. So I'm going to put a mini glue dot on one of them. And I want to make sure I have it on the bottom. So I'm just going to put it right in here on the bottom. And then to adhere this to this piece, because of the magnet, I want something really strong. So I'm going to use tear and tape. And I'm going to go real close to the edge, right over the top of that magnet. I could tear this, but I'm just going to go ahead and use and cut. And this is going to be opened and closed lots, so we'll just go ahead and use. And I'm going to put another strip that goes on the other side of this magnet. So you can see that the magnet is pretty held in on both sides, one with a glue dot and one with this. And I'm going to mount this to the front of my hinge. And so our magnet is hidden inside between here. And then we need to put on this part. So I'm going to adhere this to this side. So this part won't be showing because it's going to be between this piece and the front of the card. And I'm going to go ahead and use tear and tape on this one too. This is the hardest part, getting the backing off of the tape. And we're going to snug this right in to our score line so that our little mini card is here. Now we need to attach it here, but we need that other magnet. So I am going to turn it upside down. You can see the little bulk here where that magnet is. I'll put a mini glue dot on this magnet. And I'm going to let it snap. Okay, it wants to snap into place the other way. There we go. And so if you just get them close, they snap together. And that's how you get that alignment going. So we're going to go ahead and, because we have the magnet and we want to make sure it sticks really well, I'm going to go ahead and use tear and tape again. Close to the edge so that it's along the bottom of the magnet. And then another piece right above that so that it's on the top part of the magnet. And that way our magnet will hold in place really well. And then we'll just go ahead and put a piece up here. And mount this on the front of the card. We're almost there. We just need a little bling. And as it gets close, it just snaps. So that it will stay nice and closed. And I like these classic matte dots because sometimes you don't always necessarily want shine. And what I did is I took the white ones and I took the dark Night of Navy blends marker, the alcohol marker, and I colored them in. And I like the white ones because then I can color them any color that I like. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and I'm going to put a few gems on here. And there you have a fun mini card on top of a bigger card. So I hope you liked this week's card. I enjoyed making it. It was a lot of fun. And I think I'm going to use this design a lot more often. I really enjoyed it. So I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll like, comment, share, subscribe, all those good things, and come back and join me again soon. I will be live here on YouTube and over on Facebook on Monday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. So hope to see you there. Happy trails.